And we're going to talk about, in today's session, content, creating social messaging that derives results. In other words, it's not easy to understand how to grab people and keep them. I mean, many people are using social media to just talk about their company and try and hope that people are going to automatically just want to connect with them and buy from them. But it really is an art form. There is a science to using social media correctly, and it's really all about just understanding who your company is as a brand and also understanding who you're helping, who you're trying to help. So we're going to give you some good ideas on how to create and target your messaging to reach your ideal buyer persona. I want to get started in talking about content longevity. So the biggest portion of working with content is creating content that's going to last and that gets results. Something that's going to, drive people to your site, and then also something that's going to last for a long time for your company. I always like to use this scripture when talking about content and thinking about it in this principle. And if you can think about creating your social media content is giving, it really helps you to understand what you're going to get in return. So whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. It's really true. The scripture is also really true in how you target your messaging online. When you think of it as giving good content away and helpful information that's either going to help your buyer persona solve a pain point or reach a goal, that is what people are drawn to, because social media is just that. It's really about being social. It's about creating long-lasting relationships with people that you want to work with for a very long time. And it is in the buying process. But if you think about why people buy from you, it's because they get to know, like, and trust you. So first we have to understand who they are, our buyer personas, which we did in our discovery questionnaire, and who you are, how you can help them. So we talked about last week about setting up your plan, working smarter and not harder. Developing your buyer personas, identifying where you want to grow, who you are as a brand, what you should be known for, your tone of voice, and how you want to be perceived to your ideal audience. The next step in the buyer cycle process is all about attracting. So how are we going to attract them? And that's where content comes in. Your content can be in many forms. We talk about it in, blogs, videos. You can do creative content with, doing downloads, like calls to action with landing pages and content that you're going to give away. You can do it in social media marketing, and then search engine optimization is kind of when people are searching, how they're directed to your content. So all this is a part of the buying cycle. Then we'll talk about, how you convert them once they get your content, how you keep them engaged, delight, and measure, and that'll be in the weeks to come. So when we think about the Internet and how content plays a big part in the Internet, is really the Internet was created with content in mind. Without content and good quality content, people, the Internet would be empty. But there's a lot of bad content out there too. I mean, if you've ever searched something, you get about 6 different opinions on, every different topic. So the goal, there's enough bad content out there. The goal is to create good quality content that's going to drive results back to you and help produce a positive return on your time or your investment. When we think about where content comes into the buying cycle, 60% of the buying cycle or the sales cycle is over before someone even talks to a salesperson. And this may be different, for each industry where people are, who they're talking to. But if you think about, before people make a decision on something or if they're researching, they're typically going to go online and search. They're going to ask their peers for information. They're going to already have some kind of idea of what they're wanting before they're coming to talk to you. So they've already kind of made up their mind on some things, or at least a perception of a company or what they're looking for before they even talk to you. So the more that you can provide help and assistance in them making that decision ahead of time, the easier it's going to help you to close someone once they're talking to you and actually talk to a salesperson of yourself. The best thing with inbound marketing, when you think of social media and the content on the web, is that it is the least expensive thing you can do. It's a 61% lower cost per lead with inbound marketing. So I'm not sure how many of you actually know how much money it takes for you to acquire each new sale, but this can range from $10 to some people to a few $100s for others, because you think every person that you sell really does have a cost associated with them, whether that's your time that you're spent working leads, whether that's you spending money on leads groups, whether you're going out and doing sales trainings, whatever that may be, buying ads, television commercials, radio spots, all of it costs money. So what is your, if you take all your money and divide it by your sales, what is each sale costing you? If you can change that and maximize, your time and your money by just creating good content that's going to, be relevant to your audience and help them, find you time and time again, you're really just creating what's called a play-to-play model versus a pay-to-play, because you can create your content one time if you create it good, and it'll last forever. So you're not investing in creating content, and starting from scratch each month, like other traditional marketing is. You always have if you're doing radio or television, not that these things are bad, they do, but if you're spending money and it's never yours, it's never there forever. You're just spending money and always, having to repurchase those ads, whereas content lives forever when done right. When done right, it means just creating content that people love, marketing that people will thank you for. Where they get an article, a blog, something that's helpful or that's going to help them reach their goals. That's where they get excited about what you're talking about and will come back to you for more and more good information. I remember before we got partnered with HubSpot, I just literally started searching the web for other tools and things that were going to help us, and their site just had all the resources for us. So I continued to go back there and then became an advocate for them, and then also, partnered with them to resell their software because it's just that good. But it all started off with them creating good content that the buyers will love. And the same thing, with your businesses. If you can talk to somebody and tell them, how they can, find a job quicker or pick candidates that'll last, or how you can save them time or reach a goal, either solving a pain point or reaching a goal, that's content that your person will love. It's not necessarily all have to be about, your business per se, but it's just content that they will find useful. And think of it like this. Memorable content and content that people love is solutions-based, not product-based. So it's never about, here's this product, our website will do X, Y, Z for you. It will solve this problem for you or help you reach this goal. So good content that people will remember, is something that's going to evoke an emotion in them. It's going to help them feel like they've solved something or that they've, it's resolved some issue in their life. So you have to understand the problem in order to solve it. And that's where the difficulty comes in. A lot of times people don't, until you start diving into who your buyer personas are, you don't really know what they're going through. You have to, like we talked about last time, start talking about adjectives that describe your buyer persona. What does a day in their life look like? Some things that we think may have helped, let's just say when we talked about Heartlight Pharmacy Services, cardiologists, there's a lot of things that may help them. But really, until we start talking about what a day in their life looks like, where they're busy on the go, they really don't have a lot of time to sit, and research, until we know what a day in their life looks like and get into their mindset, we don't really know how to help them solve their problem. So that's why it was so important that we really talked about the buyer personas at the beginning. Okay, so content has a life cycle. It's used to first attract. So this is like best practices. Here's how you solve this. Then once they come to your site, so it's used to bring them to. So this is where your social media will come into play. Okay, it's used to attract your buyer personas, attract and keep them engaged. So at this time, they may be a stranger. Then if they come back to your website, they can become a lead. And this is where you can start sorting through and offering different types of content that could be specific to things that you help them solve. And we'll dive more into this later. I'm not going to go through the CTA 1, 2, and 3 right now. But this is where strangers can become a lead if they're engaging with you or liking your page, following online. But that doesn't mean necessarily that they're an MQL or marketing qualified lead. This content will also help you not only attract people, but it helps you convert the people that are just leads to a marketing qualified lead. Marketing qualified lead in the content lifecycle can then change to a SQL or a sales qualified lead. So if they're engaging with your content, they're going through different stages, which we'll talk about later, and how they're engaging. This is how you know which ones to focus your time on, your effort on who you're talking with and who you're spending the majority of your time with, their MQLs or your SQLs. And then your opportunities will come from there. Once you have an opportunity from a sales qualified lead, you know that you really can help them solve their problem, then they become an opportunity for you to really help convert to a customer and then to an evangelist. Because those are the people that are going to help share your content and spread your word for them, or for you, excuse me. So we'll pass this. And I'll give you guys slide 2 to reference back. So when we talk about creating content and doing what's called the 10-4-1 rule, this is all about, again, giving, sharing things that are helpful. Because if you create every piece of helpful content that there was, that's all you would be doing, or you'd be hiring a lot of writers for you. But what you can do is just be known as the expert in your industry or for the pain, solving solutions that you offer. You can see where your buyer personas are hanging out and where they're also referencing information. So like for us, if we're providing marketing tips, if we wrote every single marketing tip out there, we would never get anything else done. But we know that there's other people producing really good content, like we said, HubSpot or Social Media Examiner or, Marketo, those kind of things that maybe people that are interested in reading our content are also reading theirs. So what we can do is use this 10-4-1 rule to help maximize our time. So let's break down what this 10-4-1 rule is and when it comes into the creating good content. So the 10 is curate content from other articles. So if you see that there's good content out there that could be helpful to your buyer personas or help reinforce who your brand is, you can link to them and share them on your social media site. So this is, pulling from those other resources that, are non-competitors but also are reaffirming what you're saying or that could help your buyer personas, link to them and publish them on your articles. 10 of your posts out of every 15 should be curated good content. The 4 should be links to a company blog post. Now, if you don't have a blog, you're not in charge of your corporate blog, there's other ways to do this. You can create your own good content, helpful tips, and I'll show you how to do that with some images and things like that you can create. Or there's a really cool two sites out there, one called Medium, and I'll share these and we'll go over them later. The Medium, that you can create your own quick blog from a Twitter account. All you need is a Twitter account, and it's just already kind of pre-built for you, and you can curate content there that'll drive people back to just your content. And there's also a site called Paperly, paper.li, Paperly, that you can do this on as well. So 4 things should be directly coming from you. So this is, again, your helpful information, specifically written and done by you. And then your 1 should be a landing page or a call to action or some kind of, you can do a soft pitch. So did you know we can do this for you? Or let us help you do this. It's okay to pitch on social. It's just you have to do it in a way that doesn't come off as pitchy, if that makes sense. So the 10 is curated content. The 4 is blogging your own helpful content. And the 1 can be your landing page or your helpful download or a soft engaging sales pitch. So content can be more than just text, though. If you're thinking of creating good content, it doesn't just have to be text. So what do you guys think this company does? Anybody?
Gauges.
Yeah. So we can tell there's no kind of text that's on this company's Facebook page at all. But we can tell that they're using some kind of measurement, and this may be, more apparent to maybe some of the guys out there. But it was still engaging and grabbed you without a bunch of text all over their profile, So you can still tell the test measurement systems, equipment for over 60 years, this says it down here, what they do. But the cool thing is they were just able to tell kind of a story to, I'm sure the people that use those tools could tell right away what it is, and they had no text in it. There's also some fun storytelling things. I mean, we use ET all the time in our office, and can create engaging content that has it's kind of fun. And I'll show you some other examples out here. But pictures and images do really well online. Pinterest is known, that's why it grew so quickly, is because it's telling a story and creating visual content that gets noticed. And you're able to read more and get a feeling about the person or the brand or whatever what they're putting up just by them posting images. You can tell a lot about them. Like if you just looked at our Instagram, which I'll show you here in a minute, our Instagram account, you could tell a lot about us in a short amount of time without really without us really saying a whole lot. And that's why Instagram and Snapchat and some of the others that are really popular right now, it's because it's telling a story with visual content. Okay. All right, so let's bring it back around to where we left off the last time. We talked about creating your buyer personas, who they are, naming them like you're naming a real person that you worked with. We talked about who, what their demographic information is, what their job level of seniority is, what does a day in their life look like, the pain points, and describing them. Once you do that, then you're able to start thinking about what kind of content will really be helpful to them. So the content, we can talk about calls to action. This are things that, you can start thinking of. Okay, for example, homemaker Helen. What kind of content is she going to respond to if these are, her pain points and her goals? You can start listing out some of the content that will really be helpful to this individual. Once you start thinking of some of the content that's going to be helpful, then I recommend you going through and starting to generate some ideas on what you can do for a blog or an email or a social post. Could be referenced all around these kind of topics. And then this will help you plan out what each month is going to be focused on for your persona. Then you can also think about where your personas are going to be hanging out. So this is where we dive into each of your social platforms. So for example, Facebook is going to be for mainly the people that you already know. You already have a relationship with this individual or current clients, your team members, people that have heard about you in the community. Usually they're going to like you on Facebook if they already have some kind of information about you. You're less likely to follow or like somebody on Facebook if you've never really done business with this person before. However, this doesn't mean that you're not going to get seen by people, because everybody, all the fans or people that like your page, they all have, on average, over 150 friends. So if they're interacting with your page, then that shows to all their 150-plus friends that they've engaged with your page as well, and that helps to spread the word. But Facebook is that very, very laid-back platform where visual content always does better than your links. So this is where we'll talk about next. We can show you some of the tools that you can use to create your own visual content without having to be a graphic designer. So visual content, if you look through some of the posts that are shared, if you already have a Facebook page, and see which ones are getting the most engagement. I guarantee you most of them are going to be your images. It just tends to work out well. and capture, attention more than just a link to the page. Now, if you already have an existing Facebook page, however, this can take some of the, some of your guesswork out of it. You can click on your insights here and click on posts. And you can see which type of posts get the best engagement. So this helps take some of your guesswork out of it. How many of you are using insights right now on a regular basis, every 2 weeks, checking your insights? Is anybody in
Never.
here? Never?
No. Nope.
Okay.
Never have.
All right. Would it be helpful to go over this real quick on what this means? Because all of you have a Facebook business page for the most part, I think. There's a couple of people that don't, but most of you have a Facebook business page. So let's talk about this real quick, and I'll pause and go through it. We have enough time to go through this. Okay, so your Facebook business page, you should all have, no matter what your business is, whether you're personal, representative for like send out cards, you should have your own business page because you can get this insight information, and you need insight. And people are more likely to like a business or a personal brand than they are to add a friend on Facebook for a business service or a connection. It doesn't mean you can't still act in your own tone of voice. You can't have your picture associated with it, what have you, but you should definitely have a business page over a friend page. That's number one. The number two is making sure that you have some basic information and settings set up correctly on your business page. For example, if you have a really long URL with numbers, all different kinds of gibberish up here instead of just a short, clean URL, that's a problem because it's harder for people to find you. So let's go through the settings real quick first, and we'll go through insights. In your settings on your business page, you want to make sure that all of this stuff is filled out completely. So one, you want to talk about who can post to your page and your timeline. Do you want your post to appear on your timeline? Do you want it hidden until people can, until you can approve it as an administrator, which I recommend keeping that on. Messages, definitely let people message you on your business page as long as you're going to check it regularly. Tagging, allow people to tag your business. Age restrictions, if you're not really selling to 13-year-olds or people that are over a certain age, turn your age restrictions on. You can also change company restrictions. If you have certain words that you want to block on your page, you can do that. Now, if it's curse words, you can just automatically set your profanity filter to strong. Okay. This is where if you've accidentally created multiple pages on Facebook, you can merge them together here, and it'll carry over your fans from the other page. Make sure you want to do that. Facebook does make you go through a verification process, but make sure that you definitely merge your pages together because you don't want anyone getting confused on multiple page information out there. So that's your general settings. Your page info, this is where you want to make sure everything is definitely complete, okay? The categories are what people will help find you at. So if you are, your local business or business service, this is when you set up your page that asks you what type of business you are, set that up, but then you can add subcategories on what your business is known for. And this is new with Facebook too. If you see the new Facebook timeline layout, which I'll show you here. See how these words go over now? That's your categories right there. So I have templates for all you guys that I'm going to upload in our Facebook group. If you guys don't already have the new layout for your Facebook page, I'll give you the template and you can create one. Okay, and I'll send you a link on how you can use Canva here, my good friend. So we'll go over in more detail next week on how to use this tool to create that timeline cover photo for you and a lot of your social posts for free. Okay, so make sure that this is filled out completely. Give a short description, a long description. Make sure you add some hashtags in there. of what you offer, which phone number. Make sure that you have all this information completely filled out. Okay. Notifications. If you get tired, I always turn mine on Facebook because I don't want an email for every single thing I get. But you can do however you like to get notifications. Make sure you turn that on. The page roles, make sure who you have set up as an administrator, they have full access to make all changes on your page. You can also set somebody up just as a content creator if you have a partner that's going to help you with creating content on your page, or somebody that's just going to, edit, be the editor, the moderator, advertiser, or analyst, and it breaks down what each of these roles are. They just have different levels of access with each of these. Analyst just has access to your insights and how your page is performing. Advertiser just has access to do your ads, etc. Apps, this is where you can add external things on to your Facebook page. You can link in your YouTube, and it used to be really big for having apps for having when you had the light gates that are going away actually next month, so I don't know a huge time going on that, but it has all your apps that would show up. It used to be right here across the bottom. Now it's down here below. The only time you'll really use the app anymore is when you have a Facebook contest, or if you're doing some sort of Facebook contest, or if you're linking up for people to sign up for your newsletter. That's the only time you'd really use these apps anymore, I would say. Other than that, they've kind of just gone away. Suggested edits. This is where if somebody turns in and they're like, hey, that phone was wrong and I found it, somebody can submit in an edit to you, one of the fans on Facebook. So it'll show up there if I show up. Featured likes. This is liking other businesses as your business page, which I'll show you just a second here. You can add which ones you want to feature as featured likes up here. We just rotate ours and feature different 5 clients each week. You can edit your feature likes by just clicking this and the button in front of them and rotate through which ones show up on your page first. Mobile. This is if you want to text an image to your Facebook page, which hopefully all of you guys have the Pages app downloaded to your phone so you can manage your Facebook page a lot easier than this. So this is if you have an image or something that you want to just email or text to your Facebook page and it'll post automatically. You would send it to, that's your personal Facebook email address. Nobody please post anything to my business page with this right now. And then banned users. If you have some bots out there, people that are, not real or just posting on your page and you don't know who they are, they're posting stuff, you can add people and ban them right here. Okay. Activity logs. This is everything that's done on your Facebook page. You see right here. Spend a huge time going over that. But the insights is the most important thing on this page, besides setting it up, your content. This is what's going to tell you what's working and what's not. Okay, so you have your overview first, and this gives you a week overview at a time. You can change this to give you a 30-day look or bigger, but you definitely want to review this to see which content's producing the best results, which one's engaged the most with. You can watch other pages down here. Just so you know, watching pages, this is just saying, hey, how are they, performing according to us? You can grade yourself kind of against competitors or people that you like in the industry. But just so you know, if you add them to pages to watch, they do get a notification that you're watching them. So you can't really spy in a secret. They do know. They'll get a notification that you've been added or they've been added to your page to watch. Your likes is just what it says. How many new likes did you get each day? And it breaks it down by day. If you had any people that canceled their account or that unliked your page, it would show up here in the red. Okay? And this is where people came from. What kind of device were they using? How do they hear about you? Your reach is exactly that. So each post, how many people did each post reach in that day? Organic means that you didn't have to buy them. If you had an ad going, it would break down your organic versus your paid. But if you didn't have an ad going on, then it would show you just what your organic reach was. And was your engagement likes, comments, or shares? It breaks it down here. And you can just click which one you want to see. People shared your content. Visit. This is really important because it says what time of day do people interact on your page. This will let you know what time is the best time of day for you to post, right? What day of the week are they most likely to be on your page? When do you get the most visits? It will really help you tell what time of day is the best to post for you and what day is the best time when you have the most traffic. Okay? This tells us our busiest days are typically, we kind of have a tie on some of these, but it tells you your busiest day and the time of day that's. Who would have thought that all of us techies are up really late? The busiest time of day for us to post are 10 o'clock. Yours is probably different. And then the people. So are they male? Are they female? What's your demographic? This will help you know on Facebook specifically who's your demographic on Facebook. So that'll help you identify which one is your buyer personas that are on Facebook. Where are they coming from? What city, what state, what country? Where are these people coming from? Okay. This is your Facebook insights. You can export all of your insights, and this is where you can select a date range. Okay, when you want it to start, when you want it to stop. You want it to include you want the old export, which I recommend just going with the new one. And then you want the page level data, and then click download. What we do is download this to an Excel doc and then create a new tab for each month. And that way we can compare our results against each other. Okay. On your page settings, if you do not already have your name saved as your Facebook web address here, I did want to mention, if you didn't already have that done, this is where you would do that. Now, you do have to have at least 25 fans before Facebook will let you claim what we call a vanity URL, a short link to your name. And you have to have at least 30 fans in order to see any insights. Okay? Facebook makes you know that you're a real business before you claim your spot on Facebook as a vanity URL. And 30 people at least to give you good insight. For most businesses, and we use HubSpot to tell us this, I'll tell you the best times of day to post on social. Anything else with Facebook Insights too before I move on to this? Are we good? Pardon? Okay. Switch here. Okay. The best time of day to post, typically on Facebook, for each business it's different, but typically it's right around 9, 11, and 4, or right around 5 o'clock p.m., and then on the weekends. Theirs is already kind of specific to them, who they are. But most of the time, a good average is usually right around 9 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock, 9 or 10, and 11 o'clock in the afternoon, and then right around 5 o'clock in the evening. That's usually the best times of the day to post. if you're trying to get the people that are, getting off work, you can also post it around 9 p.m. You want to make sure that for Facebook specifically, like we said, for the people that you already know, you want to post one time per day. If you have 100 fans or more, one time per day, every day during the week. If you have over a few hundred fans, like 200, you want to post, you can post 2 times a day, no more than 3 times per day. The reason I say if you have over, 100 fans, because, once you have more fans, it goes by an edge rank on how many people will see your content, where if you post multiple times a day, you'll have more chances at reaching different people that are on your page. But if you only have, 30 or 40 fans, you want to give it some time to kind of keep building up, getting out more engagement before you post 3 times a day, because you don't want them to unsubscribe. Any questions with Facebook? I just talked about visual content that works the best on Facebook. Laid back, you can be more personal on this platform than any other. Think of this as your sit-down restaurant. You're having those kind of sit-down restaurant conversations, a little bit more laid back. Very good? Okay, Moving on to Twitter. Twitter is your fast food restaurant. So if you think of Facebook as your sit-down restaurant, you hang out, you talk, you have longer kind of content that goes on it, you share some photos for people that you're really kind of comfortable with. They already know a little bit about you. Well, Twitter's different, completely different. It's your fast food restaurant. You're connecting with a lot of people you don't even really on Twitter. Think of this as you're connecting and you're following people that you want to know. You're following those businesses. It's okay to follow people you know, but you're really following a lot of people that you want to know or that you respect in the industry. And you're going to tweet on this as much as you can. They recommend at least once an hour to really get impactful presence on Twitter. And you really can't tweet too much. I'll tell you. I mean, it just goes so fast. It's a fast food restaurant, and your feed, an average tweet lives about 12 minutes. So you can see this is just all in 1 minute time. How many posts were just made? I mean, it's quick. It's on the go. It's your fast food restaurant. This is your chance to show that you're the expert in something. Okay, that whatever your business should be known for, this is your expert tip section. This is where you can connect with people. And also, this is a great place to curate your content right here. And I'm going to show you this tool in more detail. I'm going to tell you what it is. You can go to Twitter feed. If you guys can all list out pages or social networks that you think that you personally follow as a business, or that you think your clients are following, that you would be willing to share all of their content or a lot of their content, write that down for next week, and I'm going to show you how you can use Twitter feed to curate your content on your Twitter account for you. Because if you want to schedule some posts out, like ours, I'm going to show you our account. I told you, like HubSpot, we follow the people that we follow. This is tweeting right now. For sites that we follow, this is all. This is all tweeted from Twitter feeds that we set up, and we have it scheduled out to tweet for us in between our tweets, things that we would think would be useful, and it just pulls from their blog or their website. So this is a great way to curate those 10 posts plus on your page. So it'll schedule it out, help kind of take off some of the load of posting to Twitter all day for you. You still want to post your own stuff, of course. Images get noticed on Twitter as well. I mean, images really, 2014 is the year of visual content. You cannot go wrong. That's why everybody's changing up their layout. If you've seen Twitter's new layout, you have this big design up here. You have your image, your profile image that's gotten larger. And then on your pages where you're shown to everyone else, then you have this background small image, and then your image here, and then you're still your big background image. I'm going to give you all the layouts for all the social networks, a template for you to make sure that you have cool-looking designs on the background. I'll give you the layout and the dimensions and how you can create it easily. But Twitter is the year of the visual image. Okay, so posting on Twitter once an hour is what's recommended. You want to post on here, if you want your stuff to be seen and you think posting one time a day is going to do it, it really won't at all. You have a lot less of a chance of getting seen than you do on other social networks where your post lives a lot longer. Okay, so follow other people that you think that you want to connect with, that you like in the industry. You can connect with people that you already know, but also people that you want to know, like I said, or people that you really respect in the industry, or in your network that you think your buyer personas would be hanging out on their page too. So, for example, so Furion, you'd want to follow brands that you're maybe looking to get into, or maybe you know that you can help them. You'd want to go there. Or people where the employment, the employees that your temporary employees that you're bringing on, where they'd be hanging out. What other Twitter pages would they be on? Go follow those pages, and you can kind of start to see who's active and who you can connect with. Twitter has a cool thing called Twitter Lists, where you can take and follow people and build them into what's called a list for you. So if you follow someone and you want them to get segmented by list, so maybe they're all of our current clients, or people that we'd like to connect with, or LinkedIn connections, for example. Whatever you want to name your list, you can organize your followers in lists. So if you want to schedule something or post something that's only going to show up to that group of individuals, you can do that. You also can know who those individuals are. Just remember, whatever you name this, they'll be able to, whoever you add to that list, they'll get a notification that you've added them to this list and what their list name is. Okay? So to create a list, you would just click this down more, list, create a new list, name it, describe it. Do you want to make it private to only where you can see this, or if you make it open, you can make it an open list to where other people can add individuals to this list for you as well. It's completely up to you how you want to set it up. Okay? So that's list. Following followers, make sure that you're not following a lot more people than that are following you, or your account might be perceived as spam. Make sure you don't just have a Twitter account set up and you're not following anyone either, because then it just makes you look like you're not as engaged in what other people are going to be talking about, and they may be less hesitant to follow you. Favorites is, think of this like a like on Facebook. This is if you think the content that's being produced out is good, you can favorite it. Clicking this, and that's kind of like liking it, and then you can go back and reference it later. Twitter is a huge one for the same thing, the giver's gain, if you will. The more that you give to individuals, and the more that you're interacting with their content, like by favoring it, sharing it, like by retweeting, which is sharing, replying back to them, etc., the more chances you're going to have to get noticed. It does take time. I recommend spending, at least the minimum, if you're going to do Twitter right, 30 minutes a day on Twitter. The good thing is with all these social apps, you can use it, on your phone. You can manage a lot of it directly from your mobile device while you're waiting. Not in, if you're waiting for an appointment, just not in your car. Please don't tweet in your car. Okay. The same thing with your settings on Twitter. To make sure that this is fully set up. Use hashtags. Think of something creative for your description too. When you're looking at your profile, make sure that your description is going to say something that's going to be a little bit more interesting. That makes people, describes who you are, but makes it interesting, where people want to know more about you. Okay? And then use some hashtags in it, because then if people are going to discover and search the key terms by a hashtag, which a hashtag is just a way of organizing content on the web, they can search by this and help pull you up. And whatever you do with your Twitter and getting stuff to publish, please do not link your Facebook and your Twitter account together to auto-publish. It looks really, really, really bad. 1. 2, it always cuts off your messages. It doesn't have the same tone of voice on Facebook as you would on Twitter. It's different types of messaging. And 3, if you share a link on Facebook, it automatically converts to an FB link onto Twitter. And then if a person doesn't have a Facebook account, they're on Twitter, then they won't be able to see what you were trying to say. Okay, so Twitter, visual content works really well on Twitter. Settings completely set up. Organize your buyer personas or people that you want to target into lists. And make sure your profile's, designed nicely in order to attract others. This is your fast food restaurant information source on the go, posting every hour. Talk about Twitter feeds next week and how you can set this up to auto-publish. So we'll be revisiting some of these tools that you'll use to help get this started. But the biggest thing is just having a plan for your content ahead of time. Which buyer personas are you going to target on which platform? And it can help us lay out our messaging. Any questions on Twitter before I move over to the type of content you're going to put on Pinterest? No? Okay, good. Okay, so Pinterest. This is our visual organizer of content. And don't think of just Pinterest for shoes and recipes. It can be so much more. Pinterest is a great way. Think of this as like pages on your website and then some. Pinterest can organize different things that you've done. Maybe it's craft ideas for, like send out cards, or for Safarion, it could be different, the group for professional services resources, books that you like to inspire action, or whatever that may be. You can create different boards around different topics and then link other people's content and yours right here. You can also link any videos that you've created right on Pinterest. A Pinterest pin, on average, it lasts for 24 hours. So that's got the longest longevity of lasting than any other social platform. It also is the highest conversion for anything e-commerce. So if you're selling anything online, Pinterest will give you the best chance of e-commerce for having a Pinterest page, because the search engine optimization on it is ridiculous. It'll drive a lot of people to you. Pinterest is really for people that you know. It's really all about the people that just think that your stuff is interesting. So depending on what you're putting up, that's who's going to follow you. It's people that you know, that you want to know. It's people that that are in the industry as you. It is just people that like your content is what is going to be following you on Pinterest. With Pinterest, make sure that you set up a business page, not a personal page on Pinterest, so you can get the good insights on Pinterest as well. Okay? They have the analytics that are on your Pinterest account. I want to sign in as somebody else. I apologize. I won't be able to show you the analytics on this. You make sure your stuff is, that your profile is completely set up on this one as well. And then you would also, be able to view your analytics right from here the same way. And it breaks it down very similar to kind of how Facebook does on your best time of day to pin, which pins are producing the best results, who's engaging with you. You'll be able to see everything on this. Let me sign in here real quick. The other thing on Pinterest is that you can create secret boards with Pinterest. This is if you want to have content that is just shared amongst your team and maybe others, that you want to share, like just select clients maybe. You can create a secret board on Pinterest and share this with them. We've used this before for some brand identity things that we've created and shared it on Pinterest, and kind of cool to share some resources that way, and it's just all as a secret board where only they'd be able to see it. You can also do as many pins as you want, and it still looks clean on Pinterest because it's all organized very easily. The biggest thing with Pinterest is making sure that you have the pin, which when you sign up your Pinterest account, or you can just say, add a pin to my toolbar, Pinterest pin it to my toolbar. And no matter what website you're on, if you can click this little pin up here, it makes it really easy to pin something to your board. It will grab all the images that's on each website. Pinterest can be for any business. We've used it for some of our construction clients to show before and after, just some of the terracotta stuff that they've done. We've used it for schools and universities. They can show some of the things that are all around their campus. They can use it for just really it helps reinforce your branding and get a good idea of who the company is as a whole. It can be used for anything. And like I said, even if it's just used for your search engine optimization, Pinterest, because it's an image one, which carries high search engine optimization in it with the alt text, it also has the description that's under here that you put with each project or each photo, that you're posting. And then a lot of times linking it back to your website, that gives you a kind of a triple threat when it comes to search engine optimization. And each pin registers on Google and on the search engines as well as a blog post. So you can pin away, drive people back to your website or wherever you want them to go, and it still is going to index your search engine optimization, help boost you up quite a bit. Okay. Anything else with Pinterest before I move on to the tone of voice on LinkedIn? Great. LinkedIn is the professional networking site. So LinkedIn, this one is your tone of voice should be very serious, not serious, but at least more professional, like what you would share in a lead group type setting. Okay? This is to show that you are the expert of what you do. It wouldn't be the same conversation that you would be having on Facebook that you would have on LinkedIn. You can share content on LinkedIn in 3 different areas. One would be your own personal profile, which each representative from your company or for you, that you want to represent your brand should have their own personal LinkedIn account. So that is going to be on their own personal profile that they would be scheduling and posting content that is more professional. Set yourself as an expert in something. And you can still use the same 10-4-1 rule. You're just not going to make it as fun and engaging, posting like we would be sharing ET on LinkedIn. You can also post on your own company board. So if you go to interest in companies, if you haven't already claimed your company page, you'd want to create one right here. Okay, so if you don't already have a company page set up, you'd want to create a company page, and when you're done with it, it'll walk you through each of the settings. You would want to post content directly to this. Your company page would look like this. You'd have a hero image that goes here. Like I said, I'll give you the template for creating this. You would post each of your posts here, and it shows up. This is the only place on LinkedIn where you can post as your company that shows up your company name. Anywhere else, like if you post on your personal page, it's going to show you. If you post within a group, it's going to show you. But if you post on a company page, it'll come up as the company name that's scheduling that post. You'll also be able to see how well each post is doing, whereas, only if you're signed in as an administrator, you'll be able to see how well each impression is doing, how our post is doing, and how many impressions it's had, how many click-through rate, your engagement on each thing. Same as, it gives you real easy insights right here. You can also go to your analytics to see a full overview of which type of contents get best engagement. People can follow your company. So think of this as like, if you all relate it back to Facebook, which usually people around here are the most comfortable with, you can see how many people are following your company. This is just like on Facebook, if they've liked your business page. This is where they do it here. Break down who's all posted, your demographics, what type of seniority level they have, what industry that they're in, what their typical company size is, what their function is within that company, and how many on your page are employees, they're following your page. And how you compare amongst your closest competitors in the area with total followers. Okay? So that's a LinkedIn business, that's your LinkedIn company page. There's also another thing that you can create, which is called a group. This works great for your buyer personas because you can create one group to drive all your buyer personas into that group to talk about a common interest. So, for example, if you're looking for people in industrial, you could create industrial experts in sharing resources group. You can create, like we have medical revenue management group. We have different groups around different topics, and then you can be topical and really nail down who's going to join your group. You can also have different advocates. If you respect other people in the industry, or you want to kick back to some of your clients or people you work with to share in managing this page and creating advocates for your brand, you can have other people that will be managers for your group and help you post into your LinkedIn group. This is people become members of the group. So you can personally see who each one is, who's joined your group. You can post promotions, positions, people that, jobs that if you're looking to hire in here for free. You don't have to pay to post a job in your group. Do all that here. The biggest thing with LinkedIn, your tone of voice, again, keep it professional, keep it helpful, share with others, connect with others that you know with LinkedIn. Make sure that all of your profile, whether it be on your personal page, your group, or your company page, is all complete. That includes, your group page, making sure that you have a follow-up message to anybody that's joining. You can make sure you check your settings here on your restrictions. I'm going to send you guys a social checklist for every single one of these social pages so you can go through and check it. Check each page, and it tells you, make sure that you have, this set up if you have a LinkedIn account. Make sure you have that set up if you have a Twitter account. I'll send that out as resources in our Facebook group after this, along with your templates for your design. So LinkedIn is going to be the social network that gets you past the gatekeeper. If you're working in a B2B type industry, or you're looking for people that are decision makers, LinkedIn is going to be that spot to go. Because a lot of times people in professional services, they don't really go on to Facebook, at least openly, and they're not going to be that place where you're going to want to add them as a friend, but you can get a personal relationship and learn a lot about an individual just by having them on LinkedIn. You can also see who's viewed your profile, get to know them a little bit more, and that helps you before you go into, a meeting with them, or it helps you niche in what they're going to want from your business, for example. Mm-hmm. So even if you're selling like a consumer-based product and you know that you're connected with this individual, you're going to know he's, has this title, this company, you're going to know that he's maybe going to be wanting, let's just use send out cards, for example. He's going to want to send cards out to maybe thank yous for their business. Thank you to the employees, maybe if they've had an anniversary. He'd also be able to use the cards, to send out cards for, happy birthdays, anniversaries, that kind of thing. So you can already come up with some ideas just because you know a little bit about this person, how they use them. And you could bring in some examples of your cards relative. Maybe you order one ahead of time for them and show them like a project maybe that they did downtown. You take a picture of the building and then you say, hey, you could send this to your client as a follow-up and a before and after kind of side-by-side. And we'll talk about next week how you can create, those collages in PicMonkey and break down these tools where you can do that side-by-side. Okay, so LinkedIn is going to help you get past the gatekeeper, that professional network. Google Plus is a mixture of all three, and I know we're running out of time here. If I'm talking so fast, there's a lot to cover in this session, but we'll keep revisiting some of these. I just wanted to break down the different tone of voices on each one. Google Plus is kind of that same scenario where it's going to mix in that professional feel on LinkedIn, where you can get away with the same tone of voice that would work on LinkedIn or Twitter for Google Plus. Does anybody on the phone have a Google Plus account?
No, I don't.
No?
No.
Okay.
I don't. No.
Okay. All right. Google Plus is great, but it is kind of, I'm going to be honest, if you're targeting people around this area, it is kind of a ghost land. For a lot of people around here aren't using Google Plus, but it does help with your search engine optimization. It does index with the Google authorship that they have all your posts on there as well as a blog. And it also helps drive traffic back. And if you're one of the first in the industry right now to start building your Google Plus app now, I do think it's going to grow over time. It's just, what's popular right now and all the other areas we'll get here in Lima and, think of it in like a year and a half. So if you start building it now, you'll be way ahead of the curve. I can show you a little bit more on Google Plus next week. So Instagram, perfect visual as well, content. The downside with Instagram is that the majority of it's from your phone, but that's also the positive piece of it. Same thing following followers with Twitter. Make sure that that's not topsy-turvy. Use this to give people an idea of who your brand is. There's cool apps that I'll tell you. Next week we'll go over those, like WordSwag to create things like this. All you need is the text. WordSwag will do the rest to make it pretty. WordSwag. We have a blog post. I'll give you all the top Instagram photo apps that you can use. A lot of them are free, that you can just create cool visual content. All you need is text, and then you can repurpose it on some of your other social networks. Instagram is great for a lot of businesses too. It just helps tell your brand story here, and you can use this to feed into your website even, or to share the links on social. Tell who your brand is and tell a story. And share quick videos, quick tip videos. That's Instagram. All right. I know we ran over 5 minutes. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So I know there's a lot to cover in an hour, and I feel like we've only been on the phone for about 10 minutes together. But I wanted to give you a good idea of social tones of voice on each platform, because then now that we know who our buyer personas are, what they can benefit from, okay, their goals or their pain points, we can start thinking of our 10-4-1 rule. So if you guys can start for your homework for the next week, think of other people that you follow online that you think that you could use them as part of your 10. Okay? Think of who your buyer personas are going to want to follow, where they're hanging out, so we can talk about how we can interact with them as that other business, as your business page. Like clicking this drop down here, you can use Facebook, for example, as the business, and like other, let me pick a business page here. You can use Facebook as the business and interact with them and share content from that business. Let me use business solutions here. We'll talk about how then you'll know who else to follow that you can share content from. So think of your 10, okay? Think of your 10 people or 10 businesses that you want to follow. Then we'll start working on creating the plan of each month, what you want to focus on, and then theme days, and then we'll go over how you can create that visual content using cool tools like Canva, PicMonkey, WordSwag, some of those free tools that are out there that will really help boost up creating your content that's visual and makes it stand out. Right, any questions before we jump off the phone, and I'll recap with the video and also some of the tools on Facebook that we talked about.
No, but thank you.
Thank you. All right. So you guys have a good week. Think of your 10, also your buyer personas, what we can do to help them, and then we'll revisit next week, same time, same place. Thanks, guys.